Thank you for your time and effort. I'll have plenty of time to talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you.
Questions about your meeting with Xi Jinping and other leaders. When will you answer our questions, sir?
Even as we meet to work out this challenge, it's important to maintain perspective about where our economy stands today. The fact is, America has a lot to be proud of. The big part of the reason Americans are facing high gas prices is because oil-producing countries and large companies have not ramped up the supply of oil quickly enough to meet the demand.
If you know, how many barrels of oil does the U.S. consume per day?
I don't have that number in front of me, sorry.
So some suggest it's about 18 million, which would suggest you're releasing less than 3 days' worth of supply from the petroleum reserve. Why is that enough?
Well, the Energy Information Agency has said, for example, that in December, this is what they have projected. Now, again, it's probably more of an art than a science. Projecting is subject to a lot of different volatility, but that in December, the price will be $3.19 a gallon, and then in January, continue to go down. So this is really a question about a short-term strategy that allows us to make this bridge.
Listening to you just now, it sounds like you're saying price is going to hit a certain amount in December and then down into January.
Yeah, it will be over
mark.
a few weeks. It'll be over.
So we're looking at increased prices continuing through the Christmas season.
Well, we're hopeful that this will, because it's increasing supply.
What message does it send to the middle-class Americans President Biden says that he's trying to help, who are struggling this week to cover the cost of the most expensive Thanksgiving ever, that the president is going to take a few days off at a billionaire's compound in Nantucket?
Well, first I would say, I don't know if you've cooked a turkey before, but a 20-pound turkey is a pretty big turkey. I think we can all agree. They're about $1 more. Just want to be clear that there are abundance of turkeys available. They're about $1 more for a 20-pound bird, which is a huge bird if you're feeding a very big family. And that's something that, again, we've been working to make sure people have more money in their pockets to address it as the economy is turning back on.
But the president said today that he was sent here to look out for these working and middle-class families who are strained right now. So what should they read into him leaving now at this time of great personal financial hardship for so many to go to Nantucket for the week?
Well, first I would say, Peter, that I hope you're spending time with your family. I'm spending time with my family, and I hope everybody in here is spending time with their families. This is a time to put politics aside.
Listen to your comments, but I want to directly ask about, are you concerned at all that the short-term message here for the short-term problem of please drill more oil undermines the administration with its long-term goal, which everyone talks about as a key goal of completely transitioning the country toward clean energy? I mean, it's two very different messages.
It is, well, I mean, the message is that we are in a transition, and the transition does not happen overnight. And we recognize we're not going to flip a switch and be completely all clean because we haven't done the investment necessary. The president just signed the bill. So this is a short-term strategy to make sure that people are not hurting. And the long-term strategy to make sure that the country doesn't hurt into the future is to build clean.
Domestically, we're producing about 11 million barrels of oil a day on average. That's down from 12 million in 2019 pre-pandemic. Why hasn't domestic production returned in a way that would lower prices?
Yeah, this is a great question, a really great question. We have 250 fewer oil rigs that are functioning today than we did before the pandemic. And yet, the oil and gas industry has leases on 23 million acres of public lands on and offshore. Over 9,500 permits have been issued that are not being used.
Terry, so bottom line, how soon will Americans see prices at the pump drop, and how long do you expect that to last?
Yeah, I'm not going to make a prediction about how much and how long. What I'm saying is that this is the largest amount that we've ever done, and it won't happen tomorrow, but it'll happen over the next few weeks that people hopefully will start to see the difference.
Before the end of the year, before the Christmas holiday?
I think that people will start to see some tick down over the next bit. But again, we want to make sure that the gas prices at the pump are not being held artificially high for some reason. So as I mentioned, it is unusual that the price of gas at the pump doesn't drop at the same rate as the price of unfinished gas.
So should Americans be bracing for prices to go down just for maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks and then go right back up again?
Yeah, again, it's hard to predict what gasoline is going to do because it is a global market, but we are doing what we can right now because this is a bridge to a longer-term issue. It's a short-term pinch. We want to make sure we do what we can.
The reserve was created for emergency purposes. Does the president believe that this is an emergency of an energy sake or more of a political crisis?
In the world. I would note that this is not technically an emergency release, but tailored to market circumstances. The Department of Energy has broad authority to do exchanges.
But is this being done primarily to try and stave off a political crisis?
This is being done in order to use every tool at the president's disposal to lower the price of gas for the American people.
Who say that this should only be used for supply disruptions. Previously, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer also said that it should only be used not for the rise in prices, but just a collapse in times of an emergency. What is your response to critics who say that this sets a dangerous precedent?
The President of the United States, or as the White House or the federal government, we have a responsibility to do everything we can to ease the burden, cut costs for the American people.
White House officials have previously said they think inflation is transitory. Is that still the view of the White House right now?
That's the view of the Federal Reserve and outside economic experts, most importantly.
President Biden, you, other members of the administration have repeatedly told Americans that wages are up, unemployment is down, the shelves are being stocked, and that the administration is working to address rising prices, including in a speech that the president gave today. So why does the White House think that its messaging isn't convincing many Americans that the economy is getting better?
The important thing for the American people to know and understand is that the president has a plan to address these issues.